Thank you for this opportunity to host this interview with you, Christian Davis, aka Roscoe Davis, an established filmmaker, producer, director, photographer, and former junior reporter for Detroit Entertainers and Musicians News. But before we dive into the interview, let's talk about how we first met in 2009 inside of the Detroit Public Schools.
Oh
Christian?
man, it's an honor. It's a pleasure because it's been so long since we've seen each other. It's like, you know, going back home.
I am the editor in chief of Detroit Entertainers and Musicians News, a meaning making news publication and training ground. In layman terms, our publication promotes only positive news and family friendly information. As I recall, you, Christian, was a mass media student at Golightly Career Technical Center under the direction of program directors Dennis Moore and Dana Hughes. It was there our partner in crime, Mr. Hamisi Robinson, videographer extraordinaire, was able to provide impact mentorship to you as his videographer assistant for us, which also resulted into you joining the Detroit EM News crew as a junior reporter.
Wow.
Do you recall?
Oh yes, I remember. I was in I think my second year at Golightly Career and Technical Center, and you came in and you were talking with the class about Detroit Entertainers and Musicians News, and I think Mr. Moore mentioned me. He was telling you how much of a good journalist I was, and you took me under your wing and you gave me a couple of opportunities to progress in the field of journalism, and I was nervous at first because I'm like I'm not so used to people being in front of the camera. I've always wanted to be behind the camera, but to be in front of the camera and be able to interview people was fun. It was exhilarating. I really want to thank you personally for the opportunity that you gave me to do that.
You actually ended up conducting some wonderful interviews in the hot pits at the 2009 Chrysler Jeep American Powerboats Association Gold Cup races. My first question: do you recall the excitement you experienced when you interviewed the owners, sponsors, and the pit crews of these very elite teams?
Absolutely. One of my mentors, Mr. Moore, always told me to research before you go into any interview, and I researched all of them beforehand, and it was just exhilarating just to be able to be in front of them and actually interview them, and to see the powerboat races was just something that I've always wanted to see, and to be so close to them and hear the engines roar and to see them drive around the waves was just it was just amazing. And I was a little nervous because I think that was like my third time doing an interview with someone, so I was still relatively fresh, but it was fun. I wouldn't trade it in for anything in the world. I got a chance to learn a lot, meet new people, network, and it was just, so fun.
Before we go any further, Christian, let's bring in DeMonte Thompson, your protege, a Detroit School of Arts junior. Now, as a young accomplished filmmaker, one of the most important tasks to achieve when you finish a final work would be to find or have a way to show your work to others. Well, it's apparent, Christian, that that is not the case with you. You've chosen to have the premieres of your movies here at the Detroit School of Arts. How did that happen?
Man, I've been coming back to DSA ever since I graduated back in 2010, just to come back and, talk with the students about being an independent filmmaker and, the struggles and hardships and the accomplishments of being an independent filmmaker. And I had the opportunity to talk to both DeMonte and Dwayne Smith. They about working on a project. At the time, I really didn't have any projects that were for them because of they were more along the lines of age appropriate. And once I lived a little bit, got a chance to work with different people and more like hone in my craft. I got a chance to see a couple of movies that really inspired me to do like a feel good film. It was Straight Outta Compton and Dope. They both actually came out this year over the summer, and when I saw those, I just got so inspired, and I just went into my room and just started writing, and I came up with the script for Homies, and I reached out to both DeMonte and Dwayne over the summer, and I told them like I finally have a film for you to work on. And, they were uber excited. They were just like,
Were they really?
yeah, they were just like jumping for joy. They posted on everything and we did a couple of promo pics to get everybody ready for it, and then we started shooting 2 days after my birthday, July 30th, and we worked for I think about almost a month on the project, and Miss Green, she found out about it, and she told me like, you're gonna have to have your premiere here. So I was super excited, and I felt like I owed it to coming back to my old high school to show them that there are people that they can look up to. There are people out here who are accessible to them and can show them that, it's okay to dream and it's okay to achieve what you want to do.
What was your involvement with these films?
I play Tyree in his film of Homies, and as well as just about helping out with the premiere and everything. I try to be involved as much as I can, but in the film I play Tyree, and my friend Kenny, who is Dwayne, who couldn't be here because right now he's going over some college things. He's a senior, getting ready to graduate, and we basically show our last day of being homies and the emotions that we go through, as well as some of the trials and tribulations of being young black men in the city of Detroit.
Briefly, can you describe the settings of both films?
Homies is it's basically in today's time. It's about two African American kids about to graduate high school who don't necessarily know as far as how far their friendship is going to go once they graduate. You've seen all over the news how many black African American men are just being gunned down and just treated just unfairly by the system. So I wanted to show a positive approach to that, but also talk about the issues that are at hand prevalently right now. So I wanted to show a feel good film, but also give my opinion as a filmmaker as to what's going on in the world today. So I wrote the script, I think, in about 2 weeks, and I sent it to both DeMonte and Dwayne, and they both fell in love with it instantly. And Gearheads is my hot rod film. That's actually the final film that I shot before I graduated from Wayne State. It's about an ex-street racer who falls in love with his rival's girlfriend. So I wanted to take it back. It's not a period piece, but I wanted it to be, but it ended up being in modern day times. But it's my final film, and it was super fun. I got a chance to work with another DSA alum, Travis Gooch, who's an up-and-coming music producer, and I got a chance to work with a producer that I've always wanted to work with. His name is Brad Watts. He helped with pretty much everything as far as the settings and getting everybody on set. It was just a very inspiring time to be doing both of these films and being able to premiere them. You know, it was just a dream come true.